Hey, now it's the Rob from 106.1 KISS FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting.
Hey guys, it's me, Steve, web contributor to 1061evansville.com.
All right, and welcome to Post to Post,
Yes.
where we cover everything from post to post. Now, a very exciting event is happening on Saturday.
Yes.
I'm really happy with the way this is happening because let me explain what I mean by that. There can be too many pay-per-views. I've said that over and over again in the history of this show. I like when they have these network exclusives, though, these specials. Like, for example, their show in Tokyo. I forget which month it was. I want to say it was July. But there were two pay-per-views. And I felt like one was excessive. One felt like too much. They haven't built this show up like a pay-per-view. They built it up as something a little special, more special than a TV taping, but not like a pay-per-view. And I've been very happy with that.
Yeah.
The Brock Lesnar Go to Hell tour is making a stop in Madison Square Garden. The WWE Network cameras are going to be rolling, and there's some pretty cool matches there, Steve.
There are some, yes.
Do you want to talk about the card here?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, so the first match we have six. There will probably, I'm sure, a Divas match added at some point.
Yeah.
But I believe it's only a 2-hour show, so maybe 6 matches is all we've got. Randy Orton taking on Sheamus. Let me give my thoughts on this one first, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I feel like these guys have reached that terrible point where they're just fighting because.
Yes.
Nothing has happened. There's been no developments really in their storylines why they should still be fighting. So I don't particularly care for this feud much anymore. But I have a prediction, and I have a reason, and I'll give that to you here in a second. I'm going to take Randy Orton, and I'll give you my reason here in a second.
Okay.
What are you thinking, Steve?
I feel the same way about the match. This is the match I call the hamburger. You've had 100 hamburgers. There's only so many ways you can have a hamburger, but you have to eat something. So we're going to eat Orton versus Sheamus. This time, when I'm enjoying my hamburger, I'm going to take Randy Orton as well.
Okay. I had a thought. I didn't read this anywhere. It was just a dumb thought in my own head. But I can't really wrap my head around Sheamus being a world champion. Or really even seriously in the next 7 months being a main eventer.
Exactly.
So I feel like at some point in time, Orton is going to take the briefcase from Sheamus.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that I like that, but it's just something I'm thinking. I don't think that should be something tangible. I don't think it should be like, a title that can be exchanged.
Yeah.
But I can see maybe Randy Orton taking that briefcase away from Sheamus at some point.
Yeah, they've done it, so I could see them doing it again.
Yeah, well, and Sheamus would be the guy, because he's just not there. He's really not.
Yeah.
After that, we've got Rusev taking on Ziggler. You have thoughts on this one?
I'm enjoying the feud. I want to see it progress, and I'd like to see it finally end and see one of these guys elevated. In that, I hope it's Ziggler, and I'm going to go with him Saturday night. Yeah,
Ziggler seems to be getting the upper hand every time, and while this might be the time for Rusev to get his comeuppance, I do feel like Ziggler will walk away with this one as well. I don't have a real reason for thinking that, but it's just where my head's at, and I don't feel confident in that, but I agree. Ziggler will win this one.
Sure.
By the way, those first 2 matches, I'm ready to see them go different ways.
Yes,
Like this,
agreed.
it feels like we've seen it a million times now. Kevin Owens defending his Intercontinental title against Y2J, Chris Jericho.
Yeah, this came out of nowhere.
Chris Jericho kind of seems to get to pick and choose when he wants to appear. He only goes on those big shows, it sounds like. I do become a little resentful of that.
Yeah.
I don't see Chris Jericho winning the Intercontinental title on Saturday.
I don't either. The only thing I can say about this is I hope the old Jericho shows up and they put on a great match.
Yeah, and he's capable of a great match, and I would like to see him with Kevin Owens. Like, I am a little excited for this one, but yeah, I don't see Jericho walking away with the victory. Okay, now my favorite part of the show seems to be the tag team title. I love that the focus is on New Day. I love what they're doing. They were brilliant on Monday. They were finally getting to see Xavier Woods exposed on a big level like that with John Cena, no less. And then it turned into a 6-man tag.
Yeah.
It was probably Xavier Woods' biggest night of his career, if you want my honest opinion. Yeah. I see that carrying over into Saturday. I see his team, even though he probably will not be wrestling, defending their title successfully against the Dudleys. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think they will walk out champions. I'm hoping as a fan that this is progressing to a 3-on-3 challenge with Spike Dudley we've mentioned before.
Man, how great would that be? And you know what? It is Madison Square Garden. It's a special show. It is kind of the Dudleys' hometown or something. It could be an opportunity for Spike to debut. What do you think?
If it happens, I'll be geeking out with everybody else. You think Spike Dudley, and you don't think that big, but in this situation, it could be huge.
We've agreed on everything so far for the most part. The only one I'm kind of back and forth on is Ziggler. It wouldn't shock me if Rusev picked up the victory on Saturday. But let's talk about the two last matches that we have. Two big matches here.
Yes.
The U.S. title being defended in a steel cage. That is John Cena defending against Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
And we've got another champion versus championship match, but it's champion versus champion. And because it is a U.S. title match, I don't see the title changing hands.
Yeah.
I see this as an opportunity for John Cena to get a big victory over Seth Rollins without Seth losing his title.
Yeah. Again, this kind of thing, this between him and Rollins, I want to see come to a conclusion. I'd like to see where John Cena's going next. But I think he gets the win in MSG, and they're going to move on to the next pay-per-view.
For sure. And then last but not least, Brock Lesnar, the headliner, taking on The Big Show.
Yeah.
Somewhat excited about this. I'll tell you a few reasons why. I remember 13 years ago now, or maybe 12 or 11 years ago, whenever they fought before in SmackDown, they tore the ring apart, and they kind of had like a feud going.
They did.
It wasn't a bad feud. It really wasn't. It wasn't a great feud, but it wasn't a bad one. I know that Big Show has definitely aged over the past dozen years or so, but whatever. This is not a guy that Brock Lesnar is going to be able to toss around.
Yeah.
And that's going to make Brock wrestle differently. This is going to be a very different looking Brock Lesnar match, and I'm excited to see what happens.
I want to ask you a question real fast.
Okay.
They have conveniently left out the part of that feud where Paul Heyman turns on Brock Lesnar at their match at Survivor Series. Do you think that'll play any part in this?
I do not see Paul Heyman turning on Brock Lesnar anytime soon, especially Saturday.
Okay.
Paul Heyman is the perfect fill-in guy when Brock cannot be there.
I agree.
And he's doing so much for Brock by being his advocate that I don't see that ending anytime soon. I also think since Brock Lesnar is headlining Hell in a Cell a few weeks later with Undertaker, there's no way he's going to come off looking bad at a house show at Madison Square Garden. Agree, disagree?
I actually think Big Show's going to win this.
Okay.
Only because I think they're going to do an Undertaker spot that will cost Brock the match. I think Brock will find himself distracted and probably walk into that big punch of Big Show.
Okay, so there you go. We finally have a disagreement on this. That makes me pretty excited. Well, I'm excited to see what happens on Saturday.
Yes.
We will recap with you next week on Tuesday. We do appreciate you tuning in for our latest endeavor. This has been Post to Post. So for myself, the Rob, and for my buddy Steve.
Thanks, guys.